It's been constantly said that in order to get wealthy, you need to have multiple streams of income. Ideally, you should aim to have around 3 to 7 individual streams of income to be safe. But here's something very few people understand. You don't get rich by having multiple streams of income, you stay rich by having multiple streams of income. But you need to get rich in the first place, and there's another way to do that. One way is to focus on one stream of income and maximize its potential. This can be through starting your own business, investing in real estate, or developing a high-income skill. Once you have achieved financial success in one area, you can then diversify your income streams to ensure stability and continued growth. Welcome to Unleash Billions. Now imagine you're alone in the woods. It's cold, it's scary, and you have to survive the night. So what do? Do you build 4 fires and sit in the middle of them, or do you build one big one that will last you through the night and sit next to it? The same principle applies to building wealth. Instead of spreading your resources and energy among multiple ventures, it is better to focus on one main source of income and invest in it to make it grow. Once you have established a solid foundation, you can then diversify and expand your income streams. In this way, you will have a strong foundation to support your financial growth and stability. You need one decent, reliable one first before you can make another one. To better understand this, let's look at different stages of how money is being made. Stage 1. From $0 to $100,000 a year. This is the only stage that most people will ever find themselves in throughout their life. How many of you saw 6 figures in your bank account at any given point? You see, most people think that in order to make 6 figures a year, you need to have multiple income streams that together will get you to that amount. But the truth is, the key to reaching 6 figures is to focus on one main income stream and maximize its potential. Once you have established a solid foundation, you can then diversify and expand your income streams. This way, you will have a strong foundation to support your financial growth and stability. It can be done, but it's the harder way, not the easier way. Now here is an industry secret that most people don't realize. It takes the same amount of work to make 100K a year as it takes to make $1 million. Just think about it for a second. If you want to 10 times your income, you can't be working 10 times more. It's impossible. Instead, you need to focus on scaling your income. This means finding ways to increase your income without increasing your workload. This can be done by automating processes, outsourcing tasks, and finding new revenue streams. By focusing on scaling your income, you can reach higher levels of financial success without working harder, but by working smarter. If working 10 hours a day makes you 100K a year, you can't assume that working 100 hours a day will make you 1 million. Because look, for one, there's only 24 hours in a day and you need to sleep and eat too. And secondly, there's no correlation between volume of input versus output. The answer lies in scalability and growth, not in the number of things that make you money. It's pretty hard to build an income stream versus growing an already existing one. So for your first 100K in a year, it's more reliable to focus on doing just one thing and increasingly better and for higher returns. Now you can pick an income stream from these 3 categories: having a job, being an independent contractor, or building a business. This is it, there really isn't another way. Any of these can get you to 100K a year in varying degrees of difficulty. For a job, that means getting promoted to an executive position where your responsibility matches your yearly salary. For an independent contractor, it means getting better clients and higher prices. As for the business, it means having a better model with a higher profit margin. It's important to remember that each of these income streams has its own set of challenges and requires different skills, so it's important to choose one that aligns with your interests, passions, and goals. If your job pays you 20K a year, you can't have 5 jobs at the same time. People who have multiple jobs do it to survive, not to get rich, and that's a different topic. If as an independent contractor, your projects make you 20K a year, you can't take on 5 times more since you just won't have time. And if your business barely pays you minimum wage, well, that's the cost of doing business in the first years. Starting 5 different businesses with all of them barely surviving isn't exactly the smartest call you can make. So, if multiple streams of income are not the answer to getting your first 6 figures in the bank, when should you think of them? Well, after you make your first 6 figures, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Once any of those categories get you into a position where you can get 6 figures constantly each year, then you can start thinking of adding additional income streams. But there's one very important thing you need to do first. You need to automate your initial income stream. There's no point in starting new ones if the first one still eats 8 to 10 hours of your day. You need to find a way to maintain your initial income stream with a decrease in your involvement. Can it still run without you being there? For a job, that's a bit more difficult. Although we've seen people automate their jobs without their bosses even knowing, that's a different story for a different time. But as for being an independent contractor, that means hiring more people and getting more clients. And as for being a business owner, you need to build up a team that can take care of things internally as you go out and build new income streams, either within the business through different products and services or through another business. The important thing to remember here is that if you cannot automate your initial income stream first, starting a new one might not be the best call. Automate the first income stream and then build the next one after. Now obviously, this is not an absolute rule since nothing is ever black and white, but it's a really reliable framework to base your financial future on. Now, there's an important caveat to mention here. Some people manage to couple those three categories together to have multiple income streams, and the most common combo is having a job and being an independent contractor. This is what people refer to as having a side hustle. Now, the reason they do this is to transfer the main income from the job to their independent work. They're doing this because it's easier to scale as a freelancer than to get promoted as an executive director in a corporation. So this is how you actually build an income stream, and it's the same way with your third and fourth and so on. The only exception to this rule is real estate. You come up with a down payment, you get a place, you charge rent. It doesn't involve you being there after that purchase is made, but it can take years until that place will pay for itself. Investing is a stream of income when you have a considerable amount of two things: money and time. The more money you have to invest, the more potential for income you have. But it also takes time for those investments to mature and generate a consistent stream of income. It's important to remember that investments also come with a level of risk, so it's important to do your research and understand the potential return on investment before committing your money. Overall, investing can be a valuable addition to your income streams, but it's important to approach it with caution and a long-term mindset. Investing requires a significant amount of money and time in order to see a good return, and it can be a reliable stream of income, but it's important to note that it's not a guaranteed income stream and it's not something that should be relied on as a primary source of income. It's also important to do your research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investments. Blue chip art refers to works of art that are of high quality and value, usually by well-established artists. These works are a safe investment as they have a history of holding their value and even appreciating over time. This is because they are in high demand among collectors and museums, which makes them less affected by market fluctuations and economic downturns. Additionally, art is a tangible asset that can be enjoyed and displayed, making it a unique and desirable investment. It's important to note that investing in art or any asset carries a certain level of risk, and it's important to do your own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Additionally, the art market can be highly speculative, and it's essential to invest in pieces that are in high demand and have a strong track record of appreciation. Masterworks is one platform that allows people to invest in blue chip art, but it's important to weigh the pros and cons before making a decision. Okay, so with all this being said, what's our advice? Find your thing and stick to it. You need to cover your minimum requirements first. You have a limited mental energy, and realistically speaking, you can't juggle too many important things all at once. It's just not sustainable. But after you find your thing and that thing starts to cover your daily living and you free up some mental space, then you can start thinking of building a secondary income stream. You need to dedicate as much time and energy for this second income stream as you did for the first one. We've built multiple income streams, but we always stick to this formula. Figure out the first one, then start another. If you spread yourself too thin, you're going to eventually half-ass everything you do because you just don't have enough time and energy. And we ourselves have fallen into this trap too. Back in the day, we started too many side projects at the same time, only to find ourselves trapped in a never-ending list of chores and maintenance just to keep things afloat. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Unleash Billions. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content. Remember, success is within your reach, so unleash your inner billionaire. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video.